What is going on, everybody? So I'm gonna show you guys something cool. It took me hours and hours to figure this out, but what it is the ability to put black bars at the top of your screen here and at the bottom of your screen here, so it changes your aspect ratio basically. Not according to the video file, that will still say 16 by 9, but you can actually make your aspect ratio look to be whatever you want. The reason I did this is because I run a live stream for my church, and I want to try putting lyrics in the black space in the bottom, because we have trouble losing our lyrics over top of things that we're seeing. Some churches don't, because they have really dark environments, and so you can see white letters on the dark environment really well. But for us, that's not working out so well. So I want to try this. And I built a macro, or 4 macros actually, to allow me to do that. But before we get into that, let me show you guys really quick what the setup looks like. We have ATEM Mini 1. This is a ATEM Mini Pro, and my multi-view display is up here. And then we have ATEM Mini 2, and this is also a Pro, and this is displaying on this little screen right here. So I've got 3 inputs coming in here, mostly just for viewing purposes, so that we can see. I can show you guys what's happening on the computers that are controlling both of these. And I've got 2 computers. One controls this one controls this one, just so I can have them up all the time. And I don't have to worry about switching between them, reconnecting, connecting, because that could be a hassle. The important thing is that I take my Ethernet port here, and that goes into my streaming bridge, and from there I run HDMI into input 1 of my second ATEM. So what that does is it gives me a program feed out. I have my multi-view, which shows up here, comes out of there, and then I have my USB-C control, which comes over to this computer here. So it gives me those 2 outputs and still allows me USB control. Now over here I've got a hub, a USB-C hub plugged in, and that's my hard drive. That's what I'm recording on right now. That's why the blue light's flashing. So you guys are going to be seeing one camera at a time. I'm not showing you a multi-view. I could, maybe we'll do that in another video. But this is literally just how to build the macros that run this. The reason I'm running 2 ATEM Mini Pros is because I want 4 camera inputs, and I've only got 4 camera inputs on one of these, but I also need to overlay lyrics. So I run it over here. This is where I overlay lyrics, and today I happen to have a computer input coming in here, so I can switch that around and show you guys what's going on. I think that's all you need to know right now. I run 2 macros on here to turn turn the black bars on and off, and I run 2 macros on here, one to hold the black bars on and the other one to shut them off. So I'll show you what that looks like now. Actually, I can't because I don't have the macro set up. So I've got to go and record the macro first, and let's show you what that looks like. So this is the computer that will be turning on the macros. And when I say turning on, I mean that because I'm going to fade the macros in, or I'm going to fade the bars. They're going to kind of creep in from the top and the bottom slowly, so it's not this abrupt change that you see. I have a button here for it already, but it's not quite, the macro that's programmed into that isn't finished. So we're going to do that right now. So I'll hit record. It'll ask me if I want to change the title or if I want to change any notes to that, which I don't. I'm going to hit record. Now everything I do will be recorded as a single function, and it will come through. It'll happen when I click that button in the future. So what I want to do is go over here and select palettes, which is already open, and I want my DVE, which is my digital video effect. First thing I'm going to do is select the source that I want to show on the DVE, and for me that's camera 3 because it's my tripod camera. So when I click that button, it will always switch to camera 3. The position I actually want to be 0. This position is set up for picture-in-picture, so that's what those numbers represent. But I want this to be 0 because I want it to be right center in the middle of the frame. The size I want to be 1 because I want this size to be full screen. So basically how, let me switch over here so you can see me. Basically how this works is the DVE, the digital video effect, overlays one of my video sources on top of another one. So if I'm over here, this is what's in front of me. I've got my background video and then I've got my foreground video. So my picture-in-picture is a little video up in the corner, but it's overlaid on top of this one. And what I'm doing is I'm giving a full screen overlay of what's happening. So camera 3 is over top of any other source that's happening right now. So that's why we make that 0, because we want it in the center, and then size is 1, so that's full size. It's very important that you turn on mask. And now this is how you determine the size of your bars. You've got the top, which I'm going to set to 2.36. 2.36. I think it's technically 2.35 to have a 21:9 aspect ratio, but I'm going to set it to 2.36 only because that's what I've been doing, and the macros on the other computer line up with that, so there's no change if you see that. And I set these to 0 even though they already were at 0 in case I was messing around with the DVE key prior to turning this on. It'll reset those to 0. Shadow, I don't want that on. Border, I don't want that on, so I make sure those are off. Now, it's super important at this point to set my program on this one to camera 3, even though it was already selected, because what's going to happen is I'm going to set my keyframe, which is going to show those black bars. As soon as I set that keyframe, it brings in, it jumps the bars in to where they're going to be. But if I've got camera 3 overlaid on top of camera 3, you don't see anything because it cut away the front portion of camera 3, the DVE part, but you're still seeing what's behind camera 3, so there's absolutely no change. So let's do this. Set that to camera 3. I set it to camera 2 because I was going to show you guys my face as I explained that, and I switched it on the first ATEM, not the second ATEM. So that's set on camera 3. We go A, and I'm going to switch here, and you see no change, right? It's exactly what we want at this point. If we did see a change, that's no bueno, because when we click this, we don't want to see a change, we just want to see those bars creep in. Alright. What do I have in my notes now? So now we set the rate to 0.01 because that's the shortest rate we can do this, and then we're going to run this to full. So currently it's actually showing us, sorry, I didn't have the cameras right there. Currently it's actually showing us that those bars, but it doesn't have anything black behind it. It just has camera 3 behind it. I forgot to mention that. You do need a blank source. So one of your sources coming in just has to be empty, and it just shows you black, and that's where your black bars actually come from. So I set this is what I was talking about, 0.01. So that when we run to full, it's like a gradual thing that happens. We want that to happen in an instant, super fast. So we run to full. Now it doesn't matter what's behind our frame like this. It doesn't matter because now our DVE is completely filling the frame again. So what we're going to do is now I want to add a pause. This is super important because if you don't add the pause, sometimes functions take slightly longer than other functions, and you'll see like a little blip in the screen. The black bars will show up just for an instant, or the screen will go black and then come back. You don't want that. So we make that pause be as short as possible because we don't want it to waste time. And then we click on air, and now I'm going to add another pause of 0.1 seconds, just so all that happens, we go on air, and then all these other functions will happen. I don't think I actually need to add 2 pauses there, but I know I need to add 1. So I just put them both, one on either side of going on air. And if you look, no changes happened to our input. So this is ATEM, the view from ATEM Mini 1, which is oh, it's not going to switch for you because I now have the DVE over top of it. So I have to finish this macro now in order to show you other camera views. That's okay. So I'll just switch on the second one. So I've added a pause before and after going on air. Now we set our program to camera 4, which adds the black behind our DVE on this view. So now this is a DVE like a picture-in-picture. It's just full size over top of black because I've got an empty source. Now that 4 is set to program, we want to set our rate to 7 because 7 seconds just seems right to me. You could run it for 5 seconds, you could run it for 10 seconds, however long you want those black bars to take to come in. And now we're going to click run to A. So this is where we set A over here initially. Now we're going to run it, and you're going to watch those black bars come in as long as I'm on the right view. Here we go. See, they're creeping in really, really slowly. Now, after I do that, I'm going to show you here, super, super important. You add a pause of 7, and I'm just going to go 0.1 because I want the pause to last slightly longer than the transition of my of that movement, that 7 second where the bars come in. Because if the macro turns off just before that, there could be another function happening, and then it gets almost there, and then it glitches or moves instantly to the full size bars. So I add the pause for 7 seconds, and then I'm done. So I click this button, and now these should work. This should always work. Now to turn it off, the hide black bars function, which is this right here, I want that to, all that needs to do is, let me see, run to full. I'm going to add another one down here because I know that one works. We're just going to create a new one. We're going to hit hide bars, and we're going to record it. And all I need this to do is, I want to make sure camera 4 is selected. I want to make sure it's on, which it will be every time I run the hide black bars. It's only because there's black bars there. And I want to have my transition the same. Then I'm going to click run full, I think. Yep, we're going to run full. Those are going to go away. I'm going to add a pause of slightly longer than what it takes to run that. Add pause there. So now that it's full, I'm going to set my program to camera 3 so that my camera 3 is now showing up behind my DVE, which is now full screen. And then we deselect. Actually, let's add another really short pause just so that our camera 3 ends up there first. And then we're going to deselect our next transition here. So now that goes away, and there will be no change that happened. I'm still on camera 3. But what is different about camera 3 is this is actually my background, my program. This isn't the DVE happening over top of it. And then all I do is stop the record, and now, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button, they're going to come in, and then I'm going to click that button and they're going to go away. But I got to show you the source, so I've got to show you me in order to do that. Here they come. I'm just looking at my multi-view to make sure it's happening. Nope, I've got it on create, not run. Okay, here we go. Click. It changed to camera 3. Black bars coming in. And they're done. Now, black bars are going out. All I'm doing is clicking the button that I just created. And there will be this little red box that shows up over top of your ATEM control software that tells you it's running a macro, and the macro is still running. So if you add bunches of pauses in your macro, it takes a minute because you've got a second pause here and a 10-second pause there and a 5-second pause. It's like, oh, we're still running a macro. We're still trying to do functions. If you don't add pauses, all of those things happen in an instant. And if they're things that don't show on your screen, you're just like a bunch of settings and then something pops up, that's fine. You don't have to add any pauses for that if it doesn't matter what order these things are going to happen in. So yeah, all I did was click this, and when you guys are doing that, this is your create side and that's your run side. So when you want to run them, make sure you click that, and you can click run and recall. So as soon as you click on the macro, see it's turned red, so it's bringing in the black bars, and they're happening on screen right there, and now the macro's gone away. So, and then you hide black bars, again, that shows up, and you see them going away. Then we cut back, and you'll see this just disappear. So that's how you know the macro's done. So that's how you bring in the macros slowly and bring them out. Now when you do that, I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna show you my screen. So these are the black bars that you're seeing, right? I'm gonna wait for that to finish, okay? Now if I change sources with those on, this is crazy. All it's doing is changing the background. It's not changing what's in front. So it's going from black bars to whatever the heck this nonsense is right here and right there. So you can't hold your black bars and change sources. What you could do, I'm going to put the black bars back on, is I'm going to show you in the software right here. You could roll up here and change your source to the other camera. And now if I change back, you can see this is now your source on top of black bars. So technically you could have black bars and 3 sources, and you could build a macro to do all this stuff. You just wouldn't be able to push the buttons on your ATEM here to switch cameras. You'd have to run the macros to switch cameras, because now you're switching by changing your camera sources here instead of just pushing the buttons. So if you guys want to see macros on how to change sources because you only have one ATEM, let me know and I'll make a video on that. I have 2 ATEMs, so I don't have to do that. But macros are incredible. Like anything you can do on your ATEM, you can run macros for, and just at the click of one button, do it all. And you could get a Stream Deck, so your Stream Deck could technically run those macros, or it can run those functions independently. Elgato makes that. I'm going to eventually get one, but until I do, I'm probably going to run the companion software, which controls the Stream Deck. So check those out. There's tons of videos on those on YouTube. Okay, so this is how we get our black bars on and off. Now I'm going to show you the other camera, and I'm just going to hide these black bars so that they go away. Okay, so now that was all on my ATEM 1. This is the control for my ATEM 2. Now what I did with my ATEM 1 is I used, and because these macros work for me, I don't have to reprogram them, so I'm going to show you guys in some different macros. I'm just going to build new ones. So this is going to be bars on. Alright, so basically what's going to happen here, and this is a much simpler way to do it because I don't have to make them fade in and out or blend, whatever you want it, creep in and out. It just sounds creepy to say creep in and out, so I don't really like that term. But what we're going to do is same thing, go to palettes, but now we're going to use our downstream key instead of our upstream key because we need our upstream key, or I need it, to run lyrics. My lyrics come in, let me show you what size they come in at. They come in looking like this. So it's just big all the way across the screen. That's not going to work. My downstream key won't adjust the lyrics size and position, but my upstream key will. So I need the upstream key to size those differently and put them in the lower third because they don't come through in a lower third. So I use my downstream key for the black bars on this one, and no switching actually happens on this ATEM. So now I want my fill source on this one to be camera 1, and it's really important that you, even if it's already selected when you're building a macro, to reselect the one you want. My rate is 1, that's fine. The mask, this is the important part because this is what trims off the your image under your DBE. Well, this isn't really a DBE, you're just masking it because you're not moving it around. It's 9, so the aspect ratio is 9:16, right? So it counts 9 units up, 16 units across. So I want it to be from the center is where it's counting from, but I want it 2.36 units from the top edge and from the bottom edge, but it's moving from the center, it's not coming in from the edge. So I have to be 6.64 from the center and 6.64 from the top, and that is going to tell me how big my frame is going to be on the downstream key. But why is it showing me that? It shouldn't be showing me that. I did something wrong. I need to backtrack. Stand by. Got it. I didn't select camera 4 as my primary camera. So you actually have to make sure that you're picking camera 4 to be on program so that it shows you the black bars, because that's the only channel I have currently that's empty. So you need a black source. I wonder, oh, you could use media player. I'm going to show you guys with the camera source because that's how I did it, but I'm sure it would work with media player. I'm learning as I'm showing you guys what's going on, so this is super fun for me. Bear with me. I'm sorry this is such a long video. Macros are absolutely amazing. Okay, so I figured it out. So the two things that didn't happen is I didn't set camera 4 to program. I need pre-multiplied key to be off, I believe. We'll find out in a second. And your key source and your fill source have to be the same, camera 1. And I only use camera 1 because that's how my input comes into ATEM number 2. So my inputs all come into camera 1, and then I'm squeezing the black bars down, and then I'm overlaying lyrics on top of that. So here we go again. We are going to record on this one. Yes. I'm going up to downstream bars on. We want palettes. We want camera 1, camera 1. We want our mask to be what it is. I'm sorry it's so tedious watching me go through and add all of these in here, but if you don't do this every time, you're just like, oh, it's already there, I'll just do it. The macro won't run these functions, it'll just run other functions. So now we've got camera 1 on, so that's what you're seeing right here coming from the ATEM 1. So I'm not recording this source actually that you're seeing currently comes from ATEM 1 into ATEM 2 through input 1. I hope that didn't confuse too many people. So we're going to turn on our key, but I want input 1 to be on program. So I selected that. Now we turn on our key, and you see what's happening here is it's because input 1 is on, and it's trying to key out parts of, or it's overlaid one over top of the other, so one's brighter than the other one. And when we go and select input 4, which is just black bars, as our program, now this is showing you the black bars at the top and the bottom. And then we turn that off, and I think we're done recording. So now our black bars are on. And to turn our black bars off, it's super easy. I'm gonna record another macro so that you can see exactly what's going on. Just go bars off. We're gonna record it, and all that's gonna do is deselect that and bring camera 1 as our main screen. So it's kind of like so now to turn black bars on and off on here on the second ATEM, so you're seeing that happen on this one. This is what you're actually going to see is black bars on, and they just jump right in. No, because I have to run it. Black bars on, they just jump in. Black bars off, they jump out. So because I don't want them to jump in and out, if you don't care and you're just like, I just want bars on top of what I'm doing, and you only have one camera source, you only have to do the second part of this video. And that is turning on this one and then turning on that one. And there's no delays that need to happen in these because they are instantaneous. The other one I have to run in a certain order so that they come in slowly. Now I'm going to show you what this looks like practically in a live stream if I was doing this live right now. So this is my main camera. We're showing the worship service, it's happening. We have a pre-service loop that runs, so it's showing us announcements and all kinds of graphics, and those are built on a 16:9 aspect ratio, so if I turn on black bars too early, I miss things. So we're going to wait till the service is introduced by the host, and then once we switch to the worship band, I'm going to click show black bars. And so it's going to look like this. Right? Pretty sweet. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my second computer, turn on black bars, and then on the first one, turn black bars off. You guys aren't going to see anything happen because that's the idea. You're now watching it as if you're one of our live stream viewers online. Now I've created another macro which moves my lyrics down over top of the black bars, and it shows us this. So now my lyrics come up inside those black bars, and they can switch as long as they're not more than 2 lines, because 3 lines you'll cut off half of the bottom one where they're positioned, and the top one will be overlaid on top of the video, and that just looks janky. So you're going to all this trouble to like create this classy look, and then your lyrics show up in weird places. So that's that. Then at the end of service, I'm going to turn lyrics off, just like that. I'm going to turn my black bars back on the first ATEM. So those are coming in right now, but you can't see them coming in. And as soon as they're in fully and that macro is done running, I turn off black bars on the second ATEM, and then I hide black bars on the first one, and they just creep out for the message because we don't have lyrics that show up on the message, so why would I need those there? So yeah, that's how you do that. If you guys are interested in seeing how to switch cameras using macros, because you've only got the one ATEM and You're like, I need to be able to switch sources between 3 cameras and have my lyrics show up over top of the black bars. You can do that. You'll need to first run your black bars through the downstream key, which actually you don't even have to if your lyrics already come through on the lower third. If they don't come through on the lower third, you'll definitely need the upstream key for the lyrics, and you can run the black bars on the downstream key. You would just want to have those on before you started streaming so that your entire live stream is in the 21:9 aspect ratio, or at least that's how it looks because you've got the black bars top and bottom, and then your lyrics can come in and out as they please. But then you can switch sources through the DVE using macros instead of on the switcher physically. So if you guys want to see how to do that, I'll figure out how to do it and I'll post a video and show you. This is just something that I came up with. It's not something I've seen anybody else do. So there's thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube of how to use a Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro. And I actually have a ATEM Mini Extreme ISO on pre-order, so as soon as that comes in, we'll show you guys some videos on what to do there. I'm hoping I can do this whole function here through that with 0 problems, and I don't have to use 2 ATEMs, I can just use 1. The reason I need to use 2 ATEMs is because I want to switch physically on the buttons. I like pushing the tactile buttons, and it creates a much more feely feel. I like feeling what's going on. But what's cool with the ATEM Mini Extreme is it has 6 macro buttons built into it. So as long as those macros in those 6 buttons are programmed to do what I want, all I've got to do is push 1 and that'll like turn my black bars on. Push number 3 and that turns on my lyrics. Push number 2, my black bars go away. You know, stuff like that. So I could even set it so that when I hit my black bars go away, it turns off my lyrics at the same time. So I don't have to worry about my black bars going out and my lyrics staying on top of the video. That would be kind of jank. Anyway, I won't see you guys because I have no idea what you look like, but you'll see me the next time I build a video. So if you like these videos, you can subscribe if you want. Thanks guys for watching, and I appreciate it.